Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Switch Sections. A couple of years ago, I was waiting tables at this restaurant in Jersey. It was during our slow season and it was pretty competitive between all the servers. Every server wanted the better section and the bigger tables, since our overall tips were lower than usual. We didn't pool tips. It got pretty cutthroat at times. I was doing okay financially, so I wasn't as money hungry as everyone else. I personally get time anxiety, so I hate being late for things. So if my shift starts at 5, I'm rocking into work at 4:45 to get settled, then clock in at 5 to get to work. My coworker Kayla, however, had a different attitude. She would walk into work at 5 on the dot and clock in, and then head right to the bathroom to put on her makeup, which took her about 15 minutes. On most days it was slow enough that it wasn't an issue, but it still wasn't right. Call me old-fashioned, but when your shift starts at 5, you should start working at 5 and not apply makeup while on the clock while you have other duties to take care of. I've never had to deal with putting on makeup, but it just seemed to me that she should have taken more time while getting ready to come to work to put it on. I always let it slide because I'm non-confrontational, but it bothered other coworkers. However, management never got around to addressing it. One day I rocked in at my usual time, and as I clocked in at 5, I saw Kayla clock in as well and scurry off to the bathroom. I roll my eyes and walk over to the host station where there are 2 people waiting. The host asked if Kayla was here yet because she was up for her first table in the rotation. I told her she was getting ready in the bathroom. The host rolled her eyes and ran to tell her she was going to get set. We all knew she was putting on her makeup. We weren't going to hassle her if she was on the toilet. I didn't hear the exact back and forth they had, but it took longer than I had expected. The last thing I heard Kayla say was, "Just switch my section, I'll take the next one. I don't care." So the host sauntered back to me with a grin, saying, "You are up for this table. Want to help me set it up?" I'm confused. Set it up? It's only 2 people. Oh no, it's a party of 14. This is Mr. Moneybags' niece and nephew. The rest of the family is on their way. For context, Mr. Moneybags was a very wealthy and well-known man in our area. Me and the host set up the table in record time, just as the rest of the party arrived. Everyone began to sit down as I greeted everyone. And just as luck would have it, I gave Mr. Moneybags a handshake as I locked eyes with a dolled-up Kayla as she entered the dining room and she realized what she did to herself. For the next 2 hours, I waited on my 14-top table, as Kayla waited on 2 tops. She actually had a table not tip at all, which is awful and I don't condone, but in this particular situation, oh well. And of course, she kicked herself again when she looked over at my table's check and saw the fat tip I was getting off my big table. Oh well, get ready for work before work, not at work. The next story is called Can't Bill It. This was one of the best bosses I ever had, but it was a new team and he was learning how to manage a team that traveled 100 plus days per year. I had already been doing similar work for a few years, so I knew the ropes. I am based in Seattle. I had 3 events in New York in about an 8-day span, 1 day for each event. I asked my boss if I can stay in New York between events, expense the hotel and bill my 8 hours a day. He said, if I'm not working, I can't bill my hours. Okay, Malicious Compliance activated. I flew home between each event, billing 12-hour travel time per flight, and each flight was double the price I would have spent on the extra hotel nights. I sent him my expense report and timesheet. Okay, next time you can stay and bill your 8 hours plus hotel. He never questioned me again. I even got my Hawaii vacation paid for, because coincidentally, an event popped up in Hawaii during my vacation that took me half a day to do. I showed him the numbers of my flight and the hotel that I booked months before. That was way cheaper than sending one of my coworkers. I told him I will work it if he paid for it all, including my friend's hotel. And he said yes. The third story is called Company Restructure. I work in health and I'm also the union delegate for my hospital. I'm often called upon by the union to offer advice to other workplaces with their issues. This happened in Australia. The only surprising thing about health managers' decisions is that they continue to surprise me with interesting decisions. My union represents everyone in health except doctors and nurses. We represent even managers up to the executive level. The new HR boss notifies the union of an upcoming restructuring and publishes a mammoth 400-page plus document about what they are doing. It's a slash and burn to middle management, basically making the department head look after 3 times as much and claim it will improve management of the workforce. It won't. It will strip leadership and clinical oversight out of the hospitals. We get to the first meeting to discuss the restructuring, and HR proposes a few things we agree on. All affected staff will be consulted in an honest and genuine manner. Everyone being made redundant will get full entitlements. The union cannot be involved with non-union members. And all departments restructured will not employ any new staff for 2 years, except for clinical staff. They thought we were being helpful with this, but we had a plan. The first department to be restructured is the HR department. The staff, union members on the ground, are left alone. However, the entire executive, non-union members are let go, leaving just a new head of HR. Over a dozen senior HR executives are gone. Now the head of HR is trying to deal with 40 to 50 HR staff by herself and restructure an organization of thousands of staff. We hear stories of her working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. The head of HR schedules a union meeting to discuss the next department to be restructured. We got every manager to document all their concerns, plus the staff under them to do the same. The first department outside HR to be restructured, and we respond with a 300-page document, basically expressing concerns and asking over 500 unique questions. We remind her of the first point we agreed on, about genuine consultation. She now confesses that she needs more staff. Can we break our agreement? We remind her of point 4 of no new staff for 2 years. She also balks at this level of consultation, and we head to industrial court where the judge rules in our favor. She now has this enormous amount of work to do and to respond to over 500 questions. We hear both the CEO and board are very annoyed by the lack of progress. 6 weeks later, we get an email about her going on indefinite leave. We never saw her again. 3 more HR managers in the next 18 months. None of them could deal with the workload, and the restructure never goes further than HR. No union member job was lost at all. The last story is called Expense Policies. I live in a commuter city about 60 km from my old workplace. I traveled for work pretty frequently and needed to get to and from the airport. My office happens to be about 8 km from the airport. Finance instituted a rule that they would only reimburse mileage the less of the distance from home or the distance from the office. So when driving to the airport and being reimbursed for 68 km each way, I was reimbursed for 8. After reimbursement and leaving extra time to park in the value lot and take the shuttle, I saved the company a lot of money on my wanted to night trips by driving. I was deep in the "we are family, this is good for the organization" mindset. Cue the malicious compliance. Taxis were just reimbursed with a little oversight from finance. I told my director how I was being screwed in exchange for my early mornings, and we agreed I'd no longer drive and submit expense reports. Instead, I'd just cap it. By letting someone else drive me, I saved an hour in the morning before I took off and an hour after I landed. And the company just had to pay double for a taxi or airport limo. Pedantic expense policies for the win. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.